Well, the next speaker tonight is Ian MacDougall, and he's representing a new organisation called Business for Scotland. It was formed to give Scottish businesses a platform to support independence for Scotland. And they've been very successful as a new organisation. I think over 1,400, over 2,000 members now. And it is an organisation that has got a bigger number of businesses represented than I think any of the other organisations that have been there for many, many years. So quite a considerable achievement for Business for Scotland. But Ian is the Managing Director of MacDougall Johnson. It's a corporate finance and accounting firm. He's passionate about growing businesses, and he's a mentor at the Entrepreneurial Spark, which is an organisation based in Scotland, assisting the growth of companies. He comes from Greenock. We'll not hold that against him, and we'll certainly not have any football jokes tonight, because I think that's a bit of a sore point. But the thing is that Greenock is actually very, very similar to Dumbarton and the Vale. The demographics, the industrialisation is almost the same, and our populations suffer from exactly the same problems, and I think Ian knows very well the problems that Greenock suffer from. And he's driven really by the desire to put Scotland at the top of the league table, like other countries like Norway, which Elspeth mentioned earlier on. So that's what I think drives Ian, and I'll ask Ian to say a few words and bring a business perspective perhaps to this.
Can you all hear me without that mic?
Yep.
Yeah? Good evening, my name is Ian MacDougall. I'm a chartered accountant. I've got an accounting practice in Glasgow. I've also owned a whisky business, and I'm a finance director of a software company. I'm not an SNP member. I've never met Alex Almond, Nicola Sturgeon or John Swinney. And on the 19th of September, I'll be going home to the family and kids and go back to the businesses. As you probably guess after you hear my speech, in all fairness. I am from Greenock, and I'm glad to hear Elspeth saying that water makes us rich, because we'll be the richest part of Scotland. SMEs, as you know, are the lifeblood of the economy. They make up 90 to 95% of the private sector employees in Scotland. And Business for Scotland was set up about a year ago with 6 business chaps I know, and we decided that small businesses were just not going to get the voice that they required in Scotland. We knew that the London-centric media wouldn't allow it, and we also wanted to demonstrate the strengths of the economy in Scotland, not just for businesses, but for the general public as well. We've got over 2,000 members, comprising very small businesses from one-man bands up to businesses with thousands of staff. All from different political persuasions. We've got a right bunch of Tories, Labours, Greens, Lib Dems, and a whole mix in between. And the whole idea was to give you some real positive stories about the Scottish economy. And businessforscotland.co.uk answers a lot of stories. It gives you a lot of, busts up some of the myths you might hear when you read the papers. So why did I join it? Well, very simple. I see a fantastic opportunity for Scotland as an independent country as a businessman. We can stand on our own 2 feet, we can go and find our own way, we can invest the money that we have as a country to make the best of our industries we have. Elspeth's already mentioned to you, you are a wealthy country. The GDP of Scotland is £26,500, the rest of the UK is just over £20,000. And the most interesting thing about that number is that includes London as well. And if you take out, you probably hear oil and gas as some sort of problem. The Better Together guys will tell you somehow that oil and gas seems to be a problem. Well, if you take out oil and gas from those numbers, we've got almost the exact same GDP as the rest of the UK without a barrel of oil and gas coming out the ground. So, if someone talks about volatility in terms of supply, demand and price, it actually makes no difference whatsoever. Because the oil is the icing on the cake, it's not the cake. So, oil and gas is very, very simple. It's our icing on the cake for us. And my colleague Ian MacDougall once said, I actually seen this on television, I was quite impressed. He said, oil and gas comes down to one simple argument. Who do you want to look after the next 30 years of oil and gas revenues? The guys that have blown it the last 30 years, or the guys that are going to look after it for you in the next 30 years? That's the simple fact of oil and gas. Again, Elspeth mentioned that in the first day of independence we will be the 14th richest nation in the developed world. We will, I suspect, again as Elspeth said, just inside that top 10 pretty soon. The most interesting thing about the top 10 wealthiest countries in the developed world is that 8 of them are small countries. And not just the obvious ones, not just the Norways, not just the Switzerlands, but Austria, the Netherlands, Denmark. And there's two that are large countries in that top 10. Can anybody name them? Have a go. USA and Australia. And what have they got in common? They bailed out the UK many, many years ago. We also know that day one of independence, Standard & Poor's, the credit rating agency, have given Scotland a AAA credit rating. That's as good as you get. AAA credit rating on day one of independence. And they've said that if the UK does not give Scotland a currency union on day one of independence, their credit rating will slip below Scotland's. So again, you hear the fear stories, the scare stories about your mortgage interest will go up, your credit card interest will go up. Why would it be more expensive for Scotland to borrow money when we've got a higher credit rating than the rest of the UK? Doesn't make sense, it's a scare story. We also know that we're a valuable member of the EU. We know that the EU's got an expansionist policy. They want to get bigger. They want to bring in strong economies to make Europe a bigger place, a bigger market for everyone in Europe. And over today there's a report published, and not my words, this is a very eminent chap by the name of Graham Avery from the European Commission's Honorary Director General for the European Policy Centre. And he said, it's very difficult to hear the Union to reject 5 million Scots who are already EU citizens. This would deprive the EU of the benefits of Scotland's membership, budgeted contribution, resources, etc. Scotland outside the EU and not applying EU rules would be a legal nightmare for EU member states whose citizens and enterprises would lose their rights in Scotland. That summarises it very well and better than I can do it. It basically says that we will be part of Europe going forward. Now whether you want that or not is a whole different matter. But we will be part of Europe going forward if we want to be part of Europe going forward. We're a keystone in Europe as we already are. Ignore the fact that our northernmost borders protect the top of Europe as well in terms of defence. We are a real key when it comes to the economy of Europe. We've also been told that the currency union is practical and reasonable by none other than Alistair Darling before he joined Better Together. It's amazing the way people's agendas change as their job changes in Westminster. And a recent poll suggested that despite the three leaders, and this is a horrendous number, despite the three leaders of Westminster saying that there will not be a currency union, 50% of Scots don't believe them. 50% of Scots did not believe them when they said that. And there will be a currency union. The reason there will be a currency union is there's a general election next year down south. And do you think a UK Chancellor is going to say to big business, especially big business, and business people down south, we're going to make it more difficult to deal with one of your biggest customers, people in Scotland. When we take your pension payment off them every month, we're going to make you exchange that into a different currency and then transfer it to a pot. It will not happen, it's as simple as that. And I think the most interesting thing about Scotland is the diversity of our economy. We don't rely on one sector. Elizabeth touched on this very, very briefly. Oil and gas is only 15% of our economy. We are massively strong in renewable energy, hospitality and tourism, life sciences, financial services. The value of food and drink alone in Scotland is unmatched. We are seen as a high quality producer of food and drink products all throughout the world. And our oil and gas revenue is only 15% of all of that. Norway, who do very, very, very well, as you can imagine, they rely on 25% of their revenues for oil and gas. We're only 15%. So, I think I've hopefully convinced you that we're a wealthy country, we're a strong country, we've got diverse industries, and the most interesting about our industries is they can't be moved. If you look at financial services, it's easily moved. You just lift it up and take it to Singapore, you take it to Hong Kong, depending on what tax rate is in those various countries. You move it to Luxembourg, you take it to Switzerland. Think of our strong industries. You can't move oil and gas. You can't move our renewable energy because it's in the waters and it's in the sky. You can't move hospitality and food and drink because it's Scottish people come to Scotland for Scotland. And you can't make whisky anywhere else. I've got a whisky business. We can't make it anywhere else. Probably a bit cheaper make it somewhere else, but we can't do it anywhere else. It has to be made in Scotland. So we've got a really strong economy, really diverse, and all based in Scotland. So what, if you stay with the UK, what have you got? Let's just look at some very quick facts. I heard about this event 6 weeks ago. I was invited to this event 6 weeks ago. And in that time, the UK has lost, politicians talk about deficits, is losing money, has lost £11 billion. 6 weeks. They've incurred debt, interest on their debt of £4 billion. £15 billion in 6 weeks the UK economy has lost. put that in other numbers, £15,000 million. And politicians talk big numbers, and it's hard to understand what it all actually means to you and I. Well, to put £15 billion into context, it's 17 new Southern General Super Hospitals every 6 weeks, 35,000 nurses paid for a year every 6 weeks, and a new 4th road crossing every 6 weeks. That's how much money the UK has lost in 6 weeks. Financial mismanagement of the highest order. The UK national debt now stands at £1,300 billion. Third highest debt to income ratio in the world. And you will hear the Better Together guys talk about the strength of the UK balance sheet. You're better together with us because we're better as a bigger bunch. The UK is a financial basket case. The initial plan was to stop this rot, stop losing money in 2014 and 15. They've missed that by a pinch of mile. They suspect it will now be 17, 18, 18, 19. I suspect it'll be even further than that, and that's only until they stop losing money. That's not repaying the debt. They've still got to repay the debt. Will estimate to be at £1,600, £1,700 billion by the time they stop losing money, 2020, 2021. And then it has to be repaid, because interest rates are going in that direction. It has to be repaid. And the more money they lose, the more expensive it becomes to borrow the money. Who is going to repay that debt? You're going to repay that debt out of your taxes, it's as simple as that. That is the only way they can repay the debt, is to increase taxes. And they will not do it in in-your-face fashion. Your tax rate won't go from 20 to 22%, 24%. You will be stealth taxed. You will have lots of little taxes on top of lots of little taxes that you don't even realise you're being taxed on. Grants from government Westminster, the Scottish Government will reduce, grants to local authorities will reduce. You will start to pay for more and more things. You're already feeling that now. Every time you go get something, you have to pay more and more and more, less money in your pocket. And that's because they're squeezing. And that's going to get worse. Austerity is not 3 or 5 years, austerity is 10 or 15 years for you as part of the UK. Pensions. Elizabeth touched on it again. We had the political heavyweight Gordon Brown in town a few weeks ago in Glasgow, threatening pensioners, telling them that they'll lose their pension under independent Scotland, ignoring the fact that we've got some of the worst pensions in Europe, ignoring the fact, and I don't know if anyone else gets the irony of this, Gordon Brown is despised by the pension industry. Gordon Brown removed dividends on tax credits from private sector pensions. And what's happened there? The amount of money going into private sector pension schemes has bombed in the last 10 or 15 years because of that very rule alone. This is the guy who's lecturing us on pensions. And on the subject of Gordon Brown and his buddy Alistair Darling, again, I'm sure you can all remember when the recession kicked in. Who was steering the ship when it ran aground? None other than Gordon Brown and Alistair Darling. These are the two guys who drove this British economy into the ground. And it wasn't a worldwide recession, ignore that. It was a Europe and a US recession. And the bank collapse was a relevant excuse for these guys. The UK was already overspending, overheating, and they couldn't see it coming. While Gordon Brown was shouting about boom and bust, the country was about to fall over and they couldn't even see it coming. These guys are the hodder and dodder of fiscal management, and they're coming here telling you that we are better together, telling you that you should listen to them, telling you that you should believe them when they talk about financial management. So, clearly it's a financial basket case in the UK. But what we're always good at is social justice, and I won't lecture on social justice because I'm a bit of a capitalist pig, obviously standing here with a suit on and being an accountant. But what I would say here is that we've got 800,000 people living in poverty in Scotland. And as a businessman, as a Scotsman, it hurts me to say that. As somebody that comes from growing up in a working class housing scheme, that really hurts. But what I tell you, as a businessman, it hurts as well. Because there's 800,000 potential customers that can't afford to buy goods and services of businesses in Scotland. So I suspect many of you work for small businesses. So basically 20% of your potential market do not have the money to come and buy your goods and services. And that's what we need to change. We need to get people out of poverty. We need to grow the economy. We need to get the snowball effect of growing the economy. People earning more, people working more people working, more people generating, more people putting money in the economy to create that snowball effect. So just to finish off, I'd say I'm a typical Scot. I'm hard-working, I'm reasonably clever, punch above my weight, 5'7", 10.5 stone, soaking wet, reasonably ambitious, and get an eye for making a few quid. And I think that's the way the rest of the world will see Scotland. Ambitious, hard-working, looking to make a few quid, looking to go ahead. And you've got a fantastic opportunity to make that happen on 18th September. Please don't waste that opportunity.
If you can hear me all right, I'll do without the microphone as well. There's one thing that Ian said there that kind of struck me is the term better together. I think when you're going to use that, you need to actually feel better together. And I've got to say, I haven't felt better together in a long, long time in this country. And certainly not in Dumbarton. I've seen Dumbarton go from being a pretty prosperous town with lots of businesses, and in my lifetime just ends up a place where there's very little going on. And I certainly don't think Dumbarton has been better together, not in my adult lifetime.